So Richard, can you give me an idea of the road to this point, how much work it's been, how many people have been involved, the sheer volume of prosthetics that you've had to make?
Well, we've been on the project for about 4.5 years so far, 200 people in the workshop, designing and creating the characters, armour, weapons, prosthetics for the film. And it's been an incredible experience, of course, but it's also been an unprecedented amount of work. We've poured a record amount of silicon, manufactured an incredible number of props and bits and pieces. But of course, it's all about how it looks in the end, and I get to see that tomorrow, which is very exciting.
Are you nervous about showing it to audiences?
Yeah, I'm always nervous about our work. I'm proud of where we've got to this point, knowing all the different elements in play. But I'm nervous as much for myself because I have a very high view of the work that I expect our company to put out, and I haven't yet seen it on film, so I'm waiting for that opportunity.
You haven't seen it yet?
No, I haven't. I undoubtedly would be offered graciously to get to see it if I asked, but I love to see it as distance from the process as possible, because I'm as big a fan as anyone of the material. So tomorrow I'll get to see it, hopefully with fresh eyes.
How different was it making The Hobbit after having made The Lord of the Rings? Could you move forward in a way? Was it easier because you'd made Lord of the Rings, or was it a completely different challenge?
Completely different challenge. We, of course, are back in the same world, the same universe of design, but Peter never wants us to rest on our laurels, nor do we ourselves, and therefore we're trying to create a new and evocative set of images and items that an audience will enjoy and not feel that they're just watching the same old stuff. We're trying to make sure that that world is very evocative and very rich and new at some level, and that's a very difficult challenge. When you've already done thousands of orcs, it's very challenging to find a pile of new orcs in the midst. But the team here pulled together over those years and did an amazing body of work, which we look forward to sharing.
So you didn't recycle any old props?
No, we had just a very limited number of things that we've seen from the previous story, because we're in a totally different part of the world, of course, different races of people and so on. So almost all of it, as you see around me, was made afresh. So.
Do the actors have to be kind to the prosthetics, or are they built tough? And were there any disastrous breakages on set?
The actors do have to be respectful of the makeup they're in. It's going to cause them a level of grief if they're not, because it means that the makeup artists have to fuss with them. The makeup artists are constantly touching up the prosthetics. But the prosthetic, I've got this one here, is a very, very soft and very unique material. So this is one of the dwarves that is glued on every day. You can see the squishy silicon that glues onto them, and if they're not respectful of their prosthetics, then they're in for more makeup time. Same with the props, of course. If they damage them, then filming stops and touch-ups have to happen. So the actors are incredibly good about looking after their stuff.
This has been such a long journey with The Lord of the Rings and now The Hobbit. Was there ever a time for you personally where you thought, the mountain's too high, this is too difficult, it's so much work, maybe I'll walk away from these films and do something else, maybe I'll walk away from Sir Peter?
No. No, simply no. I mean, we're having too much fun. It is challenging. There's no way around that, but you know that it's going to be challenging. You don't get into this business unless you're up for the challenge, and it would be a very poor showing if you faltered halfway through the journey. So I take great delight in what we do, and the calibre of the people that work with us determines how enjoyable that journey is, and thankfully Kiwi artists and technicians are arguably the best in the world, so the calibre of the journey is really special.
So it was really important for you to keep it here in New Zealand?
Critical, as you saw with the March on Parliament, with our desperate need to keep it here. This absolutely is a New Zealand project, and it absolutely had to stay here. It doesn't mean that another film industry anywhere else in the world wouldn't do a beautiful job, but these films are part of our culture now, and it's critical that as a country we get to share that with the world.